Well, hello everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. This time of the year always reminds me of the 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 how do I want to say it? The struggler that just never seems to break free of the struggle. It's just so frustrating as a positive thinking person, as somebody who is always in the optimistic mode of things are going to change and it's going to get better. And I find some of these strugglers are like this as well. And maybe you experience this too. Maybe you come into work with a spring in your step every single day and the optimism and the plan that you're going to be able to sell with predictable consistency. And along comes one or two people that wanders over to you and they want to bend your ear about how the manufacturer isn't doing something and the dealer isn't advertising anymore and we're going into the slow period of the year and there's got to be a better job and a better life out there and it's got to be something. And I really hope it's not you. But if it is you that I'm talking to specifically, then it's time to get off your own anatomy and really do something about it. If this is not you and you're the person that everybody's bending your ear all the time, then you need to do something about that too, because that just settles you down and it exhausts your own optimism and enthusiasm and excitement for the industry and for the economy and for that matter for your career and your job. And that's really what the most important thing is, right? At the end of the day, this is how the actions that we take make and shape our lives. And it really rang true for me the other evening sitting with my family. I think it was Thursday night. It was going into Canadian Thanksgiving. And I'm thinking about all the Canadians that were going to be enjoying Thanksgiving. And of course, for those of us in the United States, and I'm in Canada, by the way, for those of you in the United States, you're coming up on it, and that'll be the next major event after summer holidays have completed, and Labor Day is over, and then American Thanksgiving, and then Black Friday, and then I think it's the downward slide to Christmas and year end and the new year, and I call it the downward slide because we all tend to go on a little bit of a mental vacation as the advertising machine gets turned off and then clients are not walking into the dealership as frequently and the phone isn't ringing, the email bell isn't chiming as often. That got me thinking in that frame of mode while I'm sitting with the family, watching YouTube, watching one of my favorite motivational, inspirational, thought leadership channels. They were interviewing Elon Musk. And it was, first of all, you must respect and appreciate and like listening to Elon talk. He has become most eloquent in recent years, obviously because of his, I'm going to call it front of stage character, which is so required in each one of the businesses that he's running and leading. It's less about the operational aspect of running his company and more about being this visionary leader to attract attention to those corporations, which could be for the purpose of shareholder investment, could be for the purpose of suppliers, could be for the purpose of asking all of us to purchase his phone and his automobile and support the company in that capacity. But anyhow, regardless of what you believe, what you think about Elon, he said something that I think was wonderfully profound. And it rings true this time of the year for all of us that are looking at our traffic volume starting to settle down, especially coming out of Q3 and now going into the fourth quarter of the year, the last quarter of the year, which is not the time for you to decide that you need to sell 100 vehicles between now and the end of the year in order for you to hit your target or hit your goal. But what Elon says was the downfall of the human race and the shortcoming of humans in general, because his reference was to artificial intelligence, and that's obviously what the interview was all about, is the fact that we thrive on and live, and I'm going to add survive on, wishful thinking. And this is a downfall of the human brain, the human mind, wishful thinking. While it comforts us a little bit in those clutch moments where we really do at that moment in time maybe believe that there is a higher power, that we can wish this disastrous situation to somehow find a silver lining in the cloud. Wishful thinking clouds our judgment. And what I find this time of the year, and just speaking with a dealer yesterday, a Nissan dealer, super guy, that was talking about how his sales team's greatest challenge for me as a speaker, author, trainer, teacher is going to be the fact that they don't have any traffic coming in. And that this time of the year, advertising of any capacity has a tendency to fall on deaf ears. Now, that could be his particular market, that could be his specific brand, and that could be his particular culture within his dealership. But at the end of the day, the wishful thinking, I think, still kicks in for every single one of those individuals that are on his team, including himself, that they come in every single day hoping and wishing that the old up bus will stop in and drop off a load of hungry, anxious shoppers super interested in taking delivery of their products. And the reality is, as it has been for eons, going all the way back to the very beginning days in the 20s of an automobile dealership, this time of the year, we seem to come off of the holiday economic plan of the whole entire year, which we go into holiday mode, in my opinion, and we just hope that somehow everything that we have implemented and seeds that we have planted and our brand recognition will all come to fruition, and we won't have to spend any more dollars on advertising. And as salespeople, we can sit here and reap the benefits and just wait for the customers to come in and say, you know, I really want that one and I'll take it right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. This time of the year, we're probably seeing more bargain hunters, more hard axe shoppers. If you're waiting for those customers to walk in through the showroom doors, you're probably really quite frustrated with the fickle shopper that is shopping 10 places looking for the very best deal. In my opinion, they're probably not walking in your showroom doors. They're probably emailing you, or they're at least calling you on the phone, but they're probably not walking in. So here's what happens when we experience those shoppers is that we get upset and our feelings get hurt and our enthusiasm and excitement gets squashed and extinguished by this fire hose of water pouring down on us, weighing us down. And it's easier just to lay there and take it as opposed to it is rise up and step above the turmoil and the uncertainty of what is going to happen in this fourth quarter of the year. And so it doesn't matter what economy that we're in, whether it's 2015, 16, 17, 18, when we broke records consecutively for those 4 years, time and time again. And 19 was down a little bit over 18, so effectively was another record-breaking year. But going forward, as the pandemic rolled out, as business was so constrained and restrained, we really got to, well, it was, as so many have said, it was the old reset button. The reset button was that in that particular instance with same level consumer demand, but substantially lower supply and frequency of supply, where manufacturers were unable to produce the product and deliver it to us. And even when it was delivered, sometimes it was not drivable or it was not at least deliverable. Now it's not 2021 anymore. It's not 2020 anymore. It's not 2022 anymore, gang. We can't rely on the fact that our supply dictates the selling price and then meets the demand of those consumers coming in. What we are looking at is traditional selling methods. And this is where I can help you reach your targets and your goals of selling 10 or 15 or 20. And I'm not going to keep saying 30 cars per month. 30 cars per month is easily doable. It really is. Because in a traditional environment of sales activities, we need to be consistently prospecting. Because when we're not prospecting, vis-a-vis when we're looking after the consumers that would like to buy, then all of a sudden we wind up with this gap in our hot list, this gap in our pipeline and flow of shoppers that are coming in. And if there was one activity that you could put to the very top of your list, over and above closing, over and above negotiation, over and above product knowledge, all of which is important, unquestionably, those are 3 of the 4 pillars that I espound. The the prospecting activity of harvesting prospects is so much more exciting than just prospecting. Now, last week I talked about prospecting, some of the tactics that you can leverage and you can use. But here's one that I think we're all really familiar with, because what a good teacher does is links an unknown with a known. So let me connect the dots for you. How do we prospect? How do we harvest hungry, anxious shoppers? Well, you do so with a dynamite hook. Okay, so you have to have a very sharp hook that has a beautiful bait on it. I'm using the fishing analogy because you know that I love fishing and really thoroughly enjoy it, along with my mountain biking and dirt biking and hunting. But fishing is such an easy analogy for us to use, that we know what a hook looks like, we know what the bait looks like, and we just don't necessarily know what the fish that we're going to catch. But when a fisherman diligently decides what species they would like to fish for, they pick the appropriate hook that will fit in that fish mouth, and they pick the appropriate bait which will be most alluring and attractive to them. So in the automobile world, let me connect the dots for you and link an unknown with a known, because you may not be a fisherman or a fisherwoman or a fisher person. In other words, you may not enjoy fishing. You could understand the physical metaphor that I'm using by relating it to a private sale. Now, a private sale, for lack of a better term, is just a surge event. Okay, so we've got all of our sales going along all month long, and we're churning away, and we're selling automobiles, and you're really quite good at it because you don't have any brand new 2018, 17, 16, 15s laying around on the lot anymore. Those are all long gone, and quite frankly, every single year you clear right out to just having a sprinkling of the past model year vehicles. Right now, we've got a good selection of 2025 and 2024, so current and past model, but the 24s are going to start to dwindle away and disappear. So you're really quite great at delivering and selling these vehicles. However, to create predictable consistency for yourself, where you can live a stress-free life, where you can fall asleep at night knowing that you did the best possible job that you could. And if customers don't purchase as a result of that, well, you can leverage some of our closing tactics and negotiation strategies. I'll put a link below to the manifesto. Book a call with me. Happy to tell you all about them. Share some of those strategies. You can point blank ask me, say, Bill, like when a customer says, I want to think about it, what do you do? Well, I would leverage the objection handling formula. It's really quite easy to do, and it overcomes the I want to think about it objection, the stumbling block, the brick wall that they put up quite quickly and efficiently. When it comes to prospect harvesting, to get to that point where they want to say, I want to think about it, using the right bait and the right hook, harvesting prospects means you're talking to hungry, anxious shoppers that aren't actually actively shopping for their next vehicle. And the beauty of this, by leveraging what most of us, I shouldn't say all of us, but most of us, I hope that you are familiar with the private sale concept, is to go after those individuals that their vehicle, based on servicing at your dealership, and you can get these records, you can find out the last time they were in, you can ask a service advisor to print a service history to find out how well and how frequently they keep their vehicle up to date. You could even use that as an excuse to call your database of 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Average age of an automobile in North America is pushing the 16-year average age of an automobile on the roadway. 16 years. Can you believe that? It's getting pushed out there because some of those consumers have heard that payments have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled. So prospect harvesting is not only the activity of filling your pipeline, but filling your pipeline with really dynamite buyers. There's any marketing and advertising company, more an ad agency, can fill your pipeline with leads. And you may have had this before. Maybe you're experiencing this now with Facebook Marketplace leads. If you're promoting anything on Marketplace and you get that proverbial automated inquiry, is this still available? The one that frustrates so many private sellers that say, I will not respond to, is this still available? And of course, lowballers, I won't respond to lowballers. In my opinion, anybody that makes you a lowball offer is a very serious hot lead. Now, that aside, The reason why so many of you get frustrated with the lead, is this still available, is because you're not using the right dialogue going back. The right dialogue was perfectly scripted by Facebook Marketplace. Let me make it really easy for you. All you simply do is click on the automated response going back. Yes, it is. Are you still interested? Those words alone were perfectly scripted to filter out the individual that was sitting on their phone, nothing to do, and maybe they accidentally pressed, is this still available? Or let's say they intentionally pressed, is this still available? And they're not really far enough down the pipe to drip into your sales funnel and actually show up in the showroom and purchase the automobile. When I talk about prospect harvesting, and you take the concept of the private sale, because the private sale should have armed you with some talk tracks that you can leverage as cold outreach leads and reel some of those customers in that you selected the hook and the bait for. These are the vehicles that are approaching approaching the end of their warranty. I was going to say expiration of warranty. I don't know if that was grammatically correct. You could look at the vehicle that was in for service, then generally around the 80,000 mile mark, the 100,000 kilometer mark, the car starts to require a lot of service. This would be an excellent opportunity for you to have a conversation with anyone that could be thinking to themselves, gosh, we've done tires, we've done brakes, we've done the serpentine belt, we haven't done the fluid flush as recommended, and that's going to cost X number of dollars. We have done an anti-lock wheel sensor and wheel bearing because they're all one piece. And quite frankly, if the ABS sensor goes on that wheel, the wheel bearing's probably at the point where it should be serviced anyhow. Very easy for a technician to do so. But these costs start to climb up and amount up. And what happens is if we aren't getting in front of those customers before these significant buying triggers happen, then that customer could be thinking about and then becoming a shopper, now going through the transformation of the shopper talking, thinking, and researching other products that they haven't necessarily driven. And that is simply because, well, I've always had your product and it works great and I know the service department well, but maybe it's just time for a change. Maybe I would like to have a van instead of a sport utility. Maybe I'd like to have a sport utility instead of a pickup truck. Maybe I'd like to have a compact pickup truck instead of a full-size pickup truck. Maybe I'd just like to have a brand that is recognized as the one that loses its value the least. Maybe I want to transition from truck, van, or SUV to luxury automobile. If you are not top of mind when that customer thinks of doing so, then your pipeline is not working. And so if you were to ever reach out to me, and feel free to do so, I'll put a link in the comments below where you can get a hold of me and we can have a conversation about this. If you're saying to me, say, Bill, I just need to sell more vehicles. I just need more leads. I know how to close. I know how to negotiate. I know my product inside and out. I just need more leads. Our manufacturer's not advertising enough. Our dealer is not advertising enough. How do I do social media better such that I get these leads coming in? Social media isn't about you doing better and creating an irresistible offer that's going to just draw people in. Okay, that is the root of it. That is the methodology. That is unquestionably the text we will teach you. The social media platforms do not care about your well-being and about your business acumen and consequently vis-a-vis your success as a salesperson. What those platforms care the most about serving up to your friends, your family, your followers is content that is interesting to them. When we take off our salesperson's hat, we put on our prospector's hat, and prospecting is about creating the know, like, trust that the consumer knows we know what we're talking about. We are the automotive authority. They don't go to their friends and family when they start thinking about purchasing an automobile by saying, the car that I'm currently driving, the truck that I have right now, the van I've been driving for eons, what else should I get? Where should I turn to? Who should I buy from? Their friends and family probably don't know who you are, and consequently, you are not appearing in their feed whatsoever, and therefore, social media and all the things that you do are not working in that direction to help them say, well, I would purchase the brand that the models, the makes that fall under your rooftop from you because they are seeing the frequency and the entertainment value of you posting on social media. So if you're going to leverage social media as your conduit, as your pipeline for harvesting prospects, albeit in my opinion, it's going to be very difficult to do. We do have a format leveraging 9 content circles in order for you to get there. You don't have to dream a lot of the content up. You just have to take the time to curate it, pull it off of the net, and then put it into the platform that you like to use. And I do believe in using schedulers to make it a whole lot easier so you can populate all that content on Monday as opposed to doing it daily so that you're ready for those friendly customer interruptions. Again, I'll link a comment below. I'll put a link in the comments for you to be able to book a call with me, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or here on LinkedIn. What you want to do is make sure that you're constantly filling your pipeline with shoppers that will convert to buyers. I believe that social media is magnificent and dynamite and it works extremely well for me, but it's going out to a lot of people that very few of them drip at the end of that pipeline and then into my sales funnel, albeit, which is great and terrific. And all you need is 40 leads a month in order to be able to sell 15 to 20 vehicles. But to get those 40 leads, it's a mathematical equation that represents probably 10% of the entire audience that you're speaking to. What I think is so much more prudent and what I actually do on a regular basis and what I did when I was in your shoes, when I was looking at this time of the year and saying, okay, all the holidays are out of the way, nights are getting longer, the weather's a little bit colder, we've got a little bit more rain than expected, that does not make the automobile dealership lot a very inviting place for people to want to come in and have a look at cars. So I need to go after the individuals that are currently driving around in an automobile, looking at the odometer and thinking to themselves, we need to start considering moving on to a newer vehicle. When you can find those people in your own portfolio of clients, and remember, you only need 25 of these leads. Here's the math. From the National Automobile Dealers Association, they tell us that repeat and referral sales close at 40%. That is 100% better than cold leads that are actually hot leads, walking in or calling in on the phone or emailing in, right? So repeats and referrals close at 40%, which is 100% better than your 1 in 5 closing ratio or your 20%. By going after the individuals that you already have earned the know, like, and trust badge of honor with. And if you haven't been at the dealership very long, if you've been at the dealership for 3 days, 3 weeks, 6 months, you may not have a gigantic portfolio. You may be thinking to yourself, Bill, I don't have a portfolio. Like, I've been here for 6 months. I've been here for 8 months. I've been here for a year. I've been here for 2 years. My clients are not experiencing pain with their automobile yet and that they want to get out of it. Or worse, if they are, then they're upside down and I can't get them out of that vehicle and they don't want their payment to go up much higher than what it is. In fact, most of them want their payment to be reduced. So I'm up against a brick wall once again. Bill, I need you to help me get through to those people. Well, you can with the orphans that are at orphan customers I'm talking about, not actually orphans, but orphan customers within the dealership's portfolio. And that's as simple as asking the manager who was here before, or maybe you've asked around who was here before, that their portfolio is not being looked after. Now, if that doesn't work, you can go to the service department and you can look at the vehicles on the lot. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The service advisor is going to say, you're taking business out of my pocket in order to line your pocket. Well, I guess quite obviously, that is exactly what's happening. Once we sell them a new automobile, it's not going to require significant service other than an oil change and winter tire changeover or summer tire changeover. But there's the human eraser. Let's erase everything we're talking about there and look at the long distance plan. If we aren't creating used vehicles on the roadway and we're just servicing and recirculating the used vehicles that are on the roadway, while that is good for the service department, eventually those vehicles will completely fail. And the monthly payment, albeit Pre-owned automobile sales are at an all-time high, which is magnificent and wonderful because of the affordability factor. At some point, the consumer is going to have to go from their affordable payment to that double, triple, quadruple payment. Now, the easiest way for you to assuage the anxiety of that with harvesting prospects is to follow our customer focused approach, and that's providing them with choices. And that may be the whole dialogue that you have with them when you call them up on the phone and you say, are you familiar with our current hook? Tell them the story about the hook, why it is so great. And this is what the private sale did so well. If you've been through a private sale recently, I would encourage you to leverage those tactics. And if you want more angles on it and how to overcome, you don't have the right color, now is not a good time for me. We were thinking about doing something in the spring, so I'd come in to have a look at it, but I'm still not buying. Our lease has not matured to the point where I have to make that decision yet, or the vehicle is out of warranty, but it's been such a great vehicle anyhow. We've serviced it with you guys all the way along, so there's really no suggestion. Are you saying that my vehicle is going to quit? Are you saying that it is not a good vehicle, and at this point in time and mileage, because remember, two things kill a car, time and mileage, right? And if the customer puts those words in your mouth, tries to spin it around on you, saying that it's not a good vehicle and that I'm going to experience problems, they're expecting you to say no. So say no. That's what they want you to say. They've asked a question they want to be familiar with, because at the end of the day, we buy from people that we like. And we buy from people that we like because those people are like us. So leverage that with respect to pacing and leading of neurolinguistic processing, saying what the customer wants to hear, and then you can add to that, you, like me, would want to only invest our money in things that do appreciate as much as we possibly can when an automobile typically depreciates right from the get-go, but what protects your savings is a warranty on that monthly payment so that you don't have unexpected costs. And that's the only reason I'm calling you right now. No, the vehicle's not going to quit on you. No, the vehicle isn't bad. But our manufacturer has such fantastic deals that are only available to us right now. I thought it would be most prudent for me to inform you that your vehicle has crossed that magic line of straight line depreciation for the loan amortization as well as the actual cash value. And now is a wonderful time for you to have a look at a vehicle. If you can find 25 people in your portfolio, put them into a communication pipeline where you start and you plant the seed, water it, effectively germinate that plant to grow into an opportunity for you, then predictable consistency is no trouble at all. And this is the reason why I'm talking so much about prospect harvesting. There are so many magnificent tactics that we can leverage, that you can take a step back from having a smoke with the gang at the back of the lot. Take a step back from all the product training that you must do as required by your manufacturer. I get it. I'm not suggesting for a second that I have a solution and a plan and a cheat way of you to get that product training done and the tests completed and attend the online workshops and so on. But it wouldn't hurt for you to say to your OE, to your manufacturer, with all of this certification that is required for me to do, there isn't a lot of time left over for friendly customer interruptions. And in fact, when I do receive a customer interruption, I am going to drop everybody. I would fully expect you to drop me. Right now on this live session here in LinkedIn and Facebook and for YouTube, I would fully expect you to drop it and go and look after the customer, because nothing is more important than that client that is calling in, emailing in, and walking in. However, if you find that your closing ratio is dipping below 1 in 4 and it's creeping towards 1 in 5, and does so at this time of the year, right? And as the year goes on, we tend to spend more time with people who aren't really in the market. And that frustrates us because we use up 2 or 3 hours of our day dealing with somebody who is not going to buy until the spring anyhow. But you can make them buy right now. If you have the right product, if you demonstrate you know what you're talking about, if they like your presentation, you, like me, want to minimize our costs, you, like me, want to purchase an automobile that makes us feel comfortable driving. And of course, what I feel is most effective for anybody purchasing a vehicle is the one that is the first thing that we get into when we go to work. if we're going to that work and we really don't love what we do, doing what we love on a daily basis, then we need some kind of a lift to pick up our spirits so we go into that not so ideal workplace and job. And I'm not talking about your job. I'm talking about your customers going to their job to lift them up. What I feel is most of my clients really love the fact that they've got a brand new automobile, listening to the radio station, the temperature set at their temperature that they like to have, with the heated seat and the heated steering wheel, in their own little cocoon of protection to that job that isn't absolutely. What I've found is that most of my clients getting out of that job that they don't really like just can't believe how enjoyable it is to get into that $380 bi-weekly payment, listening to their favorite radio station of a concert-like sound system. And that is what really makes the most sense for them making this decision right now, because you, like me, probably feel that life is too short, and that why wait until we have the money? Why wait until the economy turns around? Why wait until the manufacturer significantly discounts the price of the vehicle to the point where it is so affordable? That waiting, that day may never come. And this is some of the dialogue that you can learn how to have with customers in those clutch moments, closing and sealing the deal. You know, I wanted to speak so much more about prospect harvesting and how you can draw those clients to you, because I keep talking about the pipeline, and you're reaching out to them either with an email or with a telephone call or even with conventional mail. Look at how much mail is arriving in our mail slot and our mailbox today. If you had that very attractive glossy postcard with your hook and then the story, a couple of bullet points, why now is a great time to consider purchasing our automobile, which comes down to new, shiny, latest and greatest technology, protected by a factory warranty, if they knew how affordable it could be. The "if I knew how affordable it can be" is your offer. That's the irresistible offer. It's like, oh my gosh, even when the payment has doubled, tripled, and quadrupled, when they compare it to everything else in the marketplace, the brand that you represent and sell is the one that is affordable, the one that they know inside and out will be a great investment for them. Not that an automobile is an investment. Investments usually appreciate in price. Automobiles and power sport products and boats, for that matter, as much as you think a boat is an investment, typically they're a liability. They go down in value before they start to come back up. Keep any one of them long enough, and yes, they are an investment, but that's not the reason why we buy it. Other than the fact that the pure enjoyment of the vehicle that we're driving to that job that they don't necessarily like, getting in that vehicle after they've put in 8, 9, 10, 16 hours of work in that job, that career, that profession that they don't really love, doing what they don't really want to do, getting in that automobile may be the appreciation factor that in their mind is actually an investment. You know, you can drive an old jalopy $2,000 car to your problems, or you can arrive in style in a limousine, a stretched bus limousine to your problems, which would be arriving in style, right? My name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Dealership Academy and the Auto Sales Academy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I will put a link below to book a discovery call with me. 15 minutes could change your life. This is where I can introduce you to our one system of 3 phases and 9 steps to assure you will. We warranty your results. If you're not getting the results, we work with you until you get them. Achieving 10, 20, and into 30 automobile sales per month. Here's the best part: with predictable consistency. If you are not achieving predictable consistency in anything that you're doing, then you may be practicing insanity, beating your head against the wall, expecting a different result. Stop doing that. This is an opportunity. Those that gaze into the crystal ball to tell us what the economy is going to be like and what sales are going to be like are predicting a magnificent Q4 for us, not generally as the whole economy, but for the retail car business specifically, regardless of what the election is going to yield, regardless of what government is going to be overthrown in Canada, if that is going to be the case. This is an opportunity right now at this particular quarter of the year, far better than August. So if you had a good August, then you can expect to do even better. But it starts with you. You must create and fill that pipeline with shoppers who do want to buy in order for you to be able to capitalize on it. Again, my name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy and the Auto Dealership Academy. Thanks so much for joining. Have a wonderful day, super week, and a terrific weekend. I'll see you next week. Same great day, same great time. And then, of course, scroll down in my feed here on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Have a look at some of the previous videos to grab those tips, tactics, and hints and suggestions in order for you to be able to sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. Bye-bye for now.